Good morning, everyone. We have a visitor this morning, Dayle Rodriguez, and I felt that he would be a really good speaker for us. So I will hand you over to Dayle and he will tell you what he does.
My name is Dayle Rodriguez. I'm the founder and managing director of Amakari Services. So we are basically we're an accounting firm, which I know has got some of you yawning already, but we do things a little bit differently. Our vision is to enable business owners and their staff to work a 4 or 3 day working week as standards. And my background has been very interesting. And before I formed the accounting firm and became an accountant, I've had a very interesting kind of career path and development, which I'd happily kind of share with you with a kind of Q&A with Angela, to hopefully motivate you, inspire you, start your own businesses, discuss how I was at school. I had my first business when I was 14. I say business, it's a kind of a funny story. Just so we're perfectly clear, I do not condone what I did when I was 14, and don't do it yourselves, right? So do as I say, not do as I did. So old school internet. So before there was broadband, there was a thing called dial-up, right? And this internet was so slow, like you couldn't send GIFs, man. You couldn't do anything, right? And at the time, video piracy was kind of like frowned upon, but like there wasn't all these rules about sharing information. So I had a cousin in America who would get videos and movies before they released in the UK. Again, one of those things that happened in the past, like America had movies before we did. And he would send me these files via dial-up internet, and I would download them, and I would burn them onto a VCD, which is a precursor to DVDs. The quality was terrible. They couldn't store much data, and you had to put like a movie on 4 discs, right? And also they had Korean subtitles at the bottom. However, it wasn't about the quality of the video, it was about having it first, right? So I remember bringing one of these VCDs. It was Spider-Man, the very first Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire on it. And I brought one to school, and a friend of mine was like, "Oh, Dayle, can I borrow that?" I was like, "No worries, man, it's cool." And then like word got out that I had this movie like 2-3 months before it released in the cinema, and a friend of a friend was like, "Can I borrow it?" I was like, "Man, I don't really know you like that, so you can buy it off me." And I charged him a $5 for it. Fast forward a little bit, right? So this is me hustling, obviously. I realized that burning VCDs takes hours of my time, and downloading the files as well took ages. So what I did is I actually started renting them. So instead of selling them for a $5, I started renting them for about £1, right? So obviously a lower amount of money, but what it meant was I saved time because I didn't have to burn the VCDs, and I got the resource back, right? And I kid you not, I was earning about £200 a month as a 14-year-old doing this kind of weird side hustle thing. My school found out, and the headmaster of school obviously came down on me like a ton of bricks. It's like, you can't do that, it's morally reprehensible, blah 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 blah. My dad found out, and he was very unhappy with me, but he did encourage me in my entrepreneurial pursuits. Like, what you did was wrong. You're stealing films, wrong, no matter how you look at it. But he did encourage me in my entrepreneurial pursuits. So at school, I wasn't particularly academic. I got okay grades, but my grades are nothing to shout about. So he gave me 2 or 3 books related to business that I found very beneficial that you guys might want to check out. The first one is called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. The second one is called Parable of the Pipeline by Burke Hedges. And the other one, I cannot remember who the author is, but I think it's called Selling for Success. It's based on the Zappos brand kind of identity and culture. But really good book. Anyway, so I absorbed those. And that's kind of what set me on the path of kind of wanting to be my own boss and owning a business. And my goals, wanting to be a business owner, have changed significantly in the last 15-20 years. But that's kind of like a very long intro about me. Sorry.
That's okay. That's fascinating, because you did wrong. You learnt the error of your ways, but you were able to use what you'd learned to improve yourself for the future. Legally.
Legally. I mean, I'm an accountant now, so like the rules in accountancy, like you can't be messing around with with money and accounts. It's like you go to jail for a long time. So I'm the extreme opposite of what I did when I was 14.
So why accountancy?
I don't want to take up too much time, but all my reasons for doing these things involve some kind of story. So to put in context, in 2017, 2018, I was on sabbatical from work, so taking a break from work. Me and my wife had a bit of savings, so we were just chilling. And a friend of mine owned her own accounting firm, and they needed help migrating their clients from paper-based systems or older accounting software to newer software like Xero, for example, so cloud-based software. And before I worked in the accounting space, I was and still am, a massive geek. So I used to do web development and other such things. And she was like, Dayle, you're a bit of a geek. Obviously, she can call me a geek because we're friends. Can you help me with this? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I joined the accounting firm with no accounting knowledge whatsoever, but knew that I had a goal in order to, help the business, essentially, like upgrading digital processes, which we did. So we moved about 300 clients from paper and older software to Xero. And whilst I was there, I also brought in a few clients because I also have a background in sales. And they also put me in charge of marketing as well, which is, I know it sounds really random, like a very varied role, but it was a very small team. So like when you work in smaller businesses, sometimes you wear many hats. So while I was there, we got nominated for Xero Mid-Sized Firm of the Year 2020, which is quite an achievement because I think there was about 770 plus accounting firms across the UK that applied for this award, and we got to the final three, and we got to meet all those people. Anyway, why accounting? Sorry. So that's my first introduction to accounting for me. And to be honest, the accountants I met were really nice people, but they had all these kind of terms and terminology that I did not understand. So I got myself a bookkeeping qualification and kind of learned how to do accounts while I was at the practice, because I'm going to quote my dad here, and I hope I'm not teaching some of you young people to suck eggs. Like, you can learn from anywhere. I'm not going to diss formal education because I know I'm speaking to a school. School is important, and it's important to like measure your abilities, but learning never actually stops. And for me personally, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't particularly enjoy school, but I had a dad who told me, look, you don't actually ever stop learning, and the way that we learn can change. So please don't be put off, like, a career, work, building your own business by me telling you always learning. It's not necessarily the format of learning that you get in school is the same, but after you leave school in sixth form and A levels, all that kind of stuff, you will continue to learn. And the people that succeed the best are the ones who continue to be humble in their approach. No matter how good they are at something, they go, okay, there's something more I can learn here, and always learn from their experiences, outside of work, inside of work. So I just want to share that bit of encouragement with you. Like, learning never stops, or it should never stop. And to be honest, most of the boring people are the people who stop learning. It's a fact. Anyway, sorry, back to the story.
Do you have any, I presume you've got really good A-level maths or something like that?
Nope.
No?
I actually failed my GCSE maths the first time around, and in order to do my A levels, even though I didn't want to do maths because I hated it, I'm still not so great at it either, to be honest. I actually had to resit my GCSEs, and I managed to scrape a C so I could do my A levels at my school. And it was a bit, again, it was a humbling process. So I remember being in sixth form at my school and having to take the GCSE lessons with the GCSE students. Now, I know age isn't such a big deal when you're an adult, but a year's difference is kind of embarrassing because I was with all these like year 11s and stuff, and I was like a sixth form, and I was allowed to wear my own clothes to school in these lessons, learning the stuff that they were learning, and a lot of them were brighter than me and smarter than me and better than me at maths. So yeah, I had to resit my GCSEs just so I could continue to do my A levels. So no, I'm not good at maths and not particularly good at exams.
So what's the best bit about your job, do you think?
Oh, okay, yeah. So, like I said at the beginning, the vision behind the business was to work a 4 or 3 day working week for our clients, but it's something that I also do. I'm a big proponent or big fan, should I say, of technology and letting the tech do the hard work. And as many of you guys may have heard from your parents, or if you're working yourselves or anything like that, 2020 sucked for many people, but it did show us that actually we can take a breath and we can still work efficiently and use technology, even like now, right? Realistically, I'd probably be in your school talking to you on a stage or a platform. Actually, I'm in my room at home in my office talking to you. And the idea behind Amakari was, look, if we let the tech do all the boring stuff, we can keep doing the human stuff and save time. So for me, it's a case of, look, 32 hours a week, not cramming it all in, but actually having the time to do what I want. And that's not just because I'm the boss or I own the firm. It's the same for the people in my team as well. Providing they do their work to the deadlines that are required and to the standard that is required, they get their time, because I work with some incredibly smart people, smarter than me. And I think there's sometimes a misconception in work and life between time and value. And sometimes when you have a skill that you're very valuable at, people will sometimes want to exploit that, so make you work harder. My opinion, and obviously this is just my opinion and philosophy, is like, if you can do your job really, really well, qualified or unqualified, and you smash it and you get it done early, have that time, because ultimately you can always earn more money. Like, I've had some ridiculous jobs, I've had some very low paying jobs, very high paying jobs. You can always earn more money, but the one thing none of us can ever get back, and sorry to sound a bit depressing, but it is time. These moments in time. So that's kind of one of the ethoses I put into the business. Again, not just for me, but for everyone I work with.
Okay. So is there anything about your job that, when you know you've got to do it, you go, oh, I don't want to do that today?
Yeah. I am not naturally a details person. I've had to force myself to kind of learn it and understand it. So when it comes down to nitty-gritty things, when I'm reviewing a set of accounts, when I'm doing some bookkeeping, tedious, but I know it has to be done. And doing a small amount of it, you know, in the short term pays off in the long term. So yeah, sometimes you've got to just, you know, but also I've also found out, you know, finding people with those strengths that complement my weaknesses is one of the things that really helps. You know, I do have a team that, you know, I've got one team member who loves bookkeeping, and I'm like, fill your boots, do it, enjoy yourself.
Do you, when you were starting out, did you think you knew everything you needed to know, or were you surprised at some of the things you had to do to become a business owner?
I think my experience is a little bit different to many startups and business owners. So I actually worked for other startups and other SMEs prior to starting my own business. And as I said before, quoting my dad, I learned from those experiences, from their mistakes, from their strengths. So I went into it knowing that there's things I'm not going to know.
Okay.
And I had to find those out as I did it. So yeah, I knew that I didn't know everything. And it's impossible to.
And that's good that you realise that you didn't know everything, but that actually you didn't need to know everything. You could learn things, as you say, every day.
Yeah, every day.
So that's good.
I mean, do you mind if I rephrase what I do? Like, so accountancy is generally seen as quite boring, right? So you start your business, you might be like, you know, a tech whiz, you might have some software, you might, I don't know, you might be really good with your hands, you make a new kind of like glazed window, whatever it is, and that's what you're good at and what you like. Most people start their businesses and go, well, I don't want to deal with HMRC, I don't want to deal with tax, I'm not very good at maths, I'll just throw it at an accountant. And that's the old way of doing accountancy. But what accountants are doing now in the 21st century is being a valued partner and trusted advisor in terms of growing a business. That's what really juices me up, that's what really gets me excited about being an accountant. Is okay, fine, numbers, maths, but actually when you know those numbers and metrics, you can help business owners plan and you can help them get their goals. So we've got some clients, you know, one of them, he wants to own a Lamborghini. So I'm like, okay, cool, you've got your business. He sells windows and doors, by the way. I know, very random. I'm like, okay, how many windows and doors do you need to sell? What is your manufacturing cost? And how much money can you get out of the business in the next 2 years for you to buy that Lamborghini? That's what I really like doing.
Okay, we do have a question from Mr. Ayer's class and Mr. Aguazi's class.
What was your first job?
Yeah, okay. My first actual job, working. Oh no, I had a paper round when I was, again, just before I did the whole VCD hustle. I was about 12 or 13. I had a paper round. And then I guess proper job. I worked at McDonald's as a teenager as well. I know, very cliche.
But why did you choose McDonald's?
At the time, all my friends turned their nose up at McDonald's, and they're like, "Oh, I don't want to smell like McDonald's. It's so cliche, blah blah blah." But at the time, when you're under the age of 16, you guys will probably know this. You don't qualify for minimum wage, so all the companies like Sainsbury's, Tesco's, all my friends are working there, getting like, I don't know, something like $3.20 an hour. But McDonald's were like $4.50 an hour, and I was like, well, that makes more sense. I can work less hours. You can see I'm all about the time and the hours, right? But I was like, I can work less hours and get more money than my friends. So that's why I picked McDonald's. Like, yeah, it paid me the most.
And it wasn't because you wanted to flip burgers for the rest of your life?
Nah, not really.
No.
I mean, some people want to do that, that's fine, but like it wasn't, you know, it was a means to an end.
Means to an end. So how many careers do you think you've had?
Careers, I would say I've had 3. The first career, actually, I juggle careers as well. So like in my spare time, I also write music as a composer, which I know is completely random, but I'm still actually doing that and promoting myself and actually getting money from that. So, but careers-wise, in a conventional sense, so the first career was in the care sector, third sector, as a care support worker, and then doing training. Second was in business development, specifically tech-based sales and geeky programming stuff. And then the third is this accountancy career and business I started.
Okay, we do have another question from Mr. Garbutt's class.
Okay, so you don't have to answer this question, but with like your business, how much wages do you earn?
Okay, so I'll be honest, because I think if I tell you what starting a business is like, and you know, so essentially the average earning for a qualified accountant, like ACCA, CIMA, all that kind of stuff, starts at around 60k a year, right? However, if you are qualified to get there, you need about 5 years worth of training, which costs. I am not a qualified CPA. I'm not a qualified accountant. I learned by doing it. The rest of my team, they are qualified. So my earning is not 60k at the moment. Also, where I've started the business, I'm not actually drawing a salary down from the business right now.
Okay.
Right. So I'm not being paid anything from the business.
You know, with your business and everything, I know that during these times at the moment, how's it been for you?
Well, I formed the company in September 2020. So COVID was actually the thing that gave me the push to start the business. It's something, like I said, from a young age, I've always wanted to own my own business for various reasons. And in fact, what happened was I was made redundant from a company in a very annoying way. And yeah, I was sitting there with my daughter, who's now 15 months old. And at the time, she was about 7, 8 months. And I was like, okay, well, this kid's got to eat. I can rough it. My wife can rough it, but she can't. So for me, COVID has actually given me the push that I needed to do something I've always wanted to do. And in terms of the business scape, you know, there are a lot of people like me who've gone, you know what, I need to do this. My employer has kind of let me down in terms of the trust of being an employee. And they've made people redundant to save their own skin, which I'm sorry, that sounds really negative. That's not what I'm trying to say. But, you know, a lot of people have gone, you know what, I can do this. So for me, it's been okay because I've met a lot of other businesses like mine who are going, okay, we need an accountant. Let's work together and let's build something. Does that answer the question?
It certainly does. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we've now come to the end of our session. We have no more questions for Dayle. So I'd like to thank all of you for listening in this morning.